Okay, very good afternoon to you. Hope I'm audible. So how about the virtual students? Am I audible to you?
Yes, madam.
I want to, sorry, I didn't hear you. Am I audible to you clearly?
Yes, madam.
Okay. So now I need help from you, and you have to tell me where we stopped last time. We started environment, that's what my memory says. And of course, there is two reasons. One is purposefully I'm just not keeping any notes because I just want you to keep the notes where we stopped last time. And the other thing is, since I'm going to different places, of course I can't. So we started environment, that's what I do remember. And then I said like, could you please tell me the one, those are making the notes, what was the last topic we discussed? That was last topic. Since it was last year, you can't remember. Of course you have to. I know that you may not have, but just go to your notes and tell me where we stopped last time. So we said about the what is environment, and also like, and even I can get the help from virtual class. In the marketing environment, I said that it's all talking about the surrounding of the marketing function. And also it's having different classification, internal, external, micro, macro. Internal in a sense like all the stakeholders where within the company that can influence us or being influenced by the marketing functions. And the external environment, which of course it's having, I think we made a diagram. Like in that diagram, I'll explain what is micro and what is macro, I explained. So in the external environment where we have two parts, the external stakeholders. What's the meaning of the stakeholders? Yeah, the someone who is interested on what you are doing. And also I would say that the someone who is interested on what you are doing at the same time, the someone that you can influence and you are being influenced by them. So it's both ways happening. So within the external environment, where there are some people, like maybe competitors, the suppliers, I mean, I told you like micro environment, the actors that can influence us are also being influenced by us. So there belongs to the external stakeholders. The forces are the macro, like the pestle factors. And this is another classification we can start from. In this classification, I started from internal, external, that's been linked with the micro macro. And this one started with micro macro, where in the macro environment, that is what it says, the larger forces, the pestle factors, and the micro environment, which is, I said, like the actors that can influence the marketing functions and also being influenced by the marketing functions. That's what I said. So then it has two parts, like within the company, there are some people who can influence, like top management, other departments. Okay. So then there belongs to internal stakeholders. Other than internal stakeholders, there are some other external parties, like maybe suppliers, intermediaries, competitors, government, pressure groups. So those are coming under external stakeholders. So this was a summary of the classification. I think this is what we did last time.
That is uploaded names.
I think yes. If it is not, I will check in the break. So it's just to see whether it's there or not. If it is not there, I will do it in the break. So now if I'm taking am I audible to the virtual class? Since you're last, I just want to know whether I just want to reconfirm that you are with me. I hope you are with me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. If I'm going back to the previous discussion, this was like a summary. Like we know external and internal, also micro, macro. But in this topic, this is the easiest topic, by the way, in marketing, and that you can catch it up from the general knowledge. There, I'm not talking about any external stakeholders. Or I'm not talking anything about the micro environment. Then who belongs to the micro environment? Company itself. And then since the company doesn't have all the resources, we need suppliers. So then the suppliers are there in the micro environment because they can influence us directly. What we are manufacturing is not for us, that is for customers. So then the customers also there in the micro environment because at any point they can influence us. And then we can't make our product available in the customers only by our company. We have to get the support from the intermediaries. So that intermediary is also there. And the government is also there, even though it is not being active in Sri Lanka, there are some pressure groups as well. So other than our customer base, there may be some other people like they may call as public. So that is the composition of the micro environment. So why I'm saying that on the marketing environment, I'm not talking about the micro environment because marketing, it's all about what? Marketing, it's all about what? You have to understand your market requirement and you have to fulfill them better than what competitors are doing it. At the same time, you have to maintain the profitability. Okay. So then you have to keep close control or close monitoring of two parties. Who are those two parties? Customers and competitors. So then why I'm not talking about the micro environment? Because we have two separate topics for those parties. So after the environment, I'm going to start another topic called consumer behavior, where we in detail discuss about the customers. And then the following the consumer behavior, there is another topic called competition. So there I'm in detail talking about the competition. So since those two important parties are being separately taken as two separate topics, I'm not discussing anything about the microenvironment within this topic. So from this point onward, what I'm doing is I'm taking the macro forces and see like how these macro environment is changing and what should marketers do to address to those changes. So those are the only points that I'm discussing from this point onward. Is it clear? So it's been completed, like what I've discussed, it's already been given here. And also you do remember that I gave, like we have 5 types of market. Can you remember that we discussed it when we were talking about the 4 marketing concepts? If you can't remember, just go to your notes and see whether it's there. Consumer market, reseller market, business market, international market, and the government market. Can you remember that we discussed? Now, let me start the today's discussion from this point. As I told you, I'm not discussing micro, but macro. The macro environment means like physical factors. So this environment is changing. It's a question like, are we supposed to address to all the changes that's happening in the environment as a company, as a marketeers, or else we have to pick and choose? I would say that we can't respond to each and every changes that's taking place in the marketing environment. So what here it's saying that whatever the changes we call as trends, so that we can cluster into three areas, like the fad, trends, and the mega trends. The fad means like it's very short life that just comes and goes. So whatever the change it's happened, that is sustained for a very short period of time. Then after that, again, it's disappeared. So that's what here it says that it's very unpredictable, short-lived, and it doesn't have much of a social, economic, and political significance. Like what? Certain changes are taking place, but those changes, basically companies won't address. It is not a must to address to those changes because by the time whenever you are going to address it, sometime it's already gone. The change is not there in the market. I give an example like this. I don't know, you may not have heard about that one, and that was when we were small. Like that means I'm not in your generation. I'm just one generation ahead of you. So there was a teledrama called Oshin. I don't know whether you have heard. Okay. So in that Oshin teledrama, the main character is Oshin. She was wearing a special kind of a slipper. So then by the time that teledrama was very popular in the Sri Lankan market, the Oshin slippers came into the market. So it was very the demanded product. Okay. So it's a kind of a fad. So long as the teledrama is in a star, that product is in there. But when the people get the attention for another teledrama, the people don't care about that special kind of a shoe. It's a kind of a fad. So therefore, if Oshin slippers are in the market, it is not necessary all the shoe manufacturers in Sri Lanka must address it. It's not a must. If you want, you can. Otherwise, it doesn't happen. And also there's another telegram, of course, I have not watched it. In Sri Lanka, of course, the virtual students, you have to excuse me because I'm taking the Sri Lankan example. There was one case, if I'm not pronouncing it well, you have to correct me. Is it a Changumi? Am I pronouncing it correctly? Is it a Changumi or Chungumi? Changumi, yeah. So the Changumi, again, it's the lady who was the main character. So it's wearing a special kind of a hair clip, like a stick with the beads. Okay. So that time it was very popular among the girls and the ladies. It's a fad. So so long as if it is a fad, whatever the change, so the marketeers, you don't need to be much worried about addressing it because even though you address it or not, the effect is neutral. And the other one is a trend. So which is, it's sustained for a bit of a longer period of time, unlike a fad. So that's what here is saying that a direction or the sequence of events with momentum and the durability. The trends are more predictable and durable than a fad. Trends reveals the shape of the future and can provide a strategic direction. This is if we take some fashions, the time to time, different fashions are coming for jeans, for trousers, for office wears, for hairstyle, for bags, for shoes, isn't it? Okay. So that is sustained for a certain period of time. If a slim fit denim is coming, So whoever the denim importers or the manufacturers should be aware, this is the trend these days. This is the fashion these days. So that you have to address it. Otherwise, like, you won't be able to win the people. So then the trends, certainly we have to address. And the other one is the mega trends. From the term itself, now you can guess the meaning. Mega trends means it's sustained for even a longer period of than the trends. The large social, economic, and political technological change that's slow to form and once in place influences us for some time between 7 to 10 years or even longer than that. Like certain changes are taking place in the market where like that change will sustain more than 5 years, even a decade. Sometimes some of those changes are even continue more than a decade. Okay. Like what? Any example, since you're practitioners, some examples for the mega trends, because I gave the examples for pattern trends. So I keep it open for both the virtual and the physical class. Certain changes are taking place that's go even more than 5 years. Okay, like people being concerned about their health, people being concerned about their health, so that will sustain for a considerable amount of time. The people worried about their physical fitness, so then the people will spend more for their like the physical exercise equipments and they get registered for gym and they are very much concerned about their outlook. So that will sustain for like at least for 10 years because it will even pass for the next generation as well. Because you become more health conscious and you started like controlling your food and you might be either controlling or else you are more concerned about what you are eating. It's something like it doesn't happen today and tomorrow disappear, it won't happen like that. So therefore, the marketeers, we have to understand, like whatever the changes that's taking place, it doesn't necessarily be address all of them. Only we have to address the trends and the mega trends. If many Sri Lankans are more concerned about the health, then whoever the relevant companies, like if maybe a fast food manufacturer or maybe the one who is manufacturing sports wares, one who is importing like physical exercise equipments. So then it's a good market for them. It's a positive trend for them, isn't it? So I'll leave a couple of minutes for you to take down the example for each case. That trends and the mega trends. You take down the examples. You don't need to take down these notes because anyway, I'll upload this one in April. What's there on the slide, no need to take down, but the example that I gave, better to take it down, Fed trends and the mega trends. These are environmental changes that's taking place in the environment. Those who are joining from the the platform, like some of the examples for the FLAT, of course, you can write down from the countries where you are living. But the trends and mega trends, it's a kind of a universal example where that's common to any country where you live. Because in any country, the fashion is something unique to that country, like certain fashion trends and even the mega trends. hope you have finished taking down. Finish. Okay, now from this point onward, what I'm going to do is, I told you like this is one of the easiest topic in marketing. Only thing you need bit of common sense and bit of careful thinking. That's it. Otherwise, you don't need to study this topic. So I'll start with the demographic environment. In the demographic environment, what it's talking about the people. Demographic environment means it's talking about the people, like in terms of their population, size, density, location, age, gender, occupation, and those kind of statistics which are relevant to the people. So now I have put some trends that's taking place. So some of these trends are specific to Sri Lanka, and some are even regardless of any country where you live, it's common. So then as marketing students, you have to, I told you like at the very beginning of the semester, I told you like, I'm not worried about what you are writing down as a note. I'm not worried about the end result, but I'm more concerned about like how you're thinking. Okay. So in this topic, like the discussion that I'm going ahead with the marketing environment, for each environmental forces, I want you to think 2 points. What is the trend? How should marketers address it? Okay. So now I'm discussing a trend, and then I'm asking you to think how should marketers address it. Those are the only 2 points that I will be taking you through the entire discussion. Okay. Keep ready for it. So no matter which country that you are living, so that is common for the virtual students as well, population is increasing. So then as businessmen, we should be aware generally our population is increasing. Why our population is increasing? We know that population is increasing. Why? How come it's increasing? If I'm taking the example from Sri Lanka, how do you know that the Sri Lankan population is increasing? Huh? Yeah. So just by looking at the road traffic, yeah, we can see that the number of people have gone up. Okay. And also, how about the life expectancy of the Sri Lankan average person? How about our life expectancy these days? That's what I told you, like we need common sense for this subject. And of course, like the ones those are joining from the virtual class, you can think about the life expectancy of the country, the where you are living. How long that you and me live? Average. 65 plus, so 70, yes. Average 75, yeah. Mhm. And how about our birth rate? So because why I'm asking those 2 questions, the life expectancy and the birth rate determine the population. Because once we have born, so if we are quickly dying, so then the population is going down. So unless otherwise, like
Sorry.
unless otherwise, like the speed of dying should exceed the speed of birth. Then again, the population is increasing. Do you understand the way that I'm thinking? Okay. So I want you to think in the same way. So if that is the case, how about the Sri Lanka the birth rate? So that related to your country, where you are living, the virtual students. If you are not aware, at least get the support from the Google. 2%. Yeah, it's roughly 1.5 to 2. Okay. So then like we know that those who are already born, they are living for average of 70 years. And from the, like normally, you know, the bell shape. So bell shaped curve, like so the population should be like that. Because the whoever is born, like the people are dying, so that's why this side is gone down, but the people are adding from there as well. So then why the marketeers worry about it? Because it's their market, isn't it? That is their market. They should know that generally in any country, the population is how much. And also they should know more detail about the population. So is it like this? If it is like the bell shape, that means evenly distributed. So which has I would say the children and the young adults and the elderly people. Okay. So it should goes like this, but this is not always like a normal curve. So sometimes it's skewed to the young generation more. I mean this side. Or else it will be skewed to the other side. Sri Lanka, where do you think? Like even the virtual students, you can think about the situation in your country. So if I'm referring to the Sri Lankan situation, are we in exactly bell shape? Or are we skewed towards more young generation, or else are we skewed towards more elderly generation? Yeah, we are aging population. So Sri Lanka is known as aging population. So how come we are aging population? Why Sri Lanka is called as Sri Lanka is having aging population? Huh? Why a particular country's population is named as an aging population? Birth rate is lower than the life expectancy, death rate, yes, yeah. Because those who are already in the population, they are anyway getting old. So the speed of getting old, you have to compare with the speed of new generation adding. If both speeds are equal, then again it becomes a normal curve. But the speed that it's adding, that means birth rate has gone down, but the people, those who have already born, anyway, they are getting old. So then the population is become aging population. Some other countries which is having aging population. Huh? Okay, so I'll give the chance to the virtual students first, since they are a bit isolated today. Any country where you can come up with the example with that we can see an aging population. That means majority all people are living. If Christine, any chance from the virtual class? Are you there? No, you can't see this.
Countries like China, India, US.
Okay. So why not Japan? So Japan it's the well known for aging population. So then why we have to worry about the aging population and the nature of the population? Because if a particular country is having more elderly people, or if it is tagged as an aging population, then the many people are old. So once they are becoming old, then what happens? They are very much concerned about their health. So they become more health conscious. They are more concerned about the pension scheme. They're more concerned about the living longer. So you know that in Japan and some of the foods are even very expensive, like some special kind of fish. And they say like from Sri Lankan rupees, one piece is expensive as like almost 100,000. But they are earning to eat that quality food. Because they know that if they are having quality food, they can live longer. So that's why average life expectancy of Japanese people is 100 years plus. So even in Sri Lanka, like if you are looking at just a few generations ago, people are not much worried about the health conscious. People are not much worried about the pension scheme. People are not much worried about the physical fitness. Because the majority is young generation, they're not worried about those ones. But once they become like 40 plus, okay, then they are very much concerned, then there is a potential market for those products. So then that's why like traffic light system came to Sri Lankan products, like to indicate the sugar level. You know, the traffic light system, like the red is for high sugar, the orange is for average sugar, and the green is for no sugar. So those days earlier, it was not the case. Now people are a bit worried, like whenever they are consuming a like carbonated soft drink or whatever the drink, and they see whether it's a red, orange, or green, and how much sugar in it, how much fat in it. So that becomes the population composition and how does it go. And also like why we have to be concerned about the life expectancy, which is also one aspect of population. Why we should know, like as marketeers, why should we know about the life expectancy of a particular market, I mean particular country. As in Sri Lanka, we know that we have like 65 or I would say at 70. Then how should marketeers, like what kind of marketing implications are there in it?
Provide the customers with the throughout the period.
Yeah, you know that even if you win a particular customer, that customer will be loyal. If you're going to keep the loyalty, so then like it's almost like at least 20, 30 years of loyal customer. Because if you are along with the earning age, if the earning age is coming as 25 plus, then if you win a particular customer's the brand loyalty, that person will continue for a considerable amount of time. It means like half of the lifetime the person is going to spend. That's one way. Other than that, how if I make it is more specific, like why the life expectancy is so important for education institutes to provide academic like CA. That's also education institute. The ones which provide the education programs. Why the life expectancy is important for them whenever they are drafting any program. So I told you like this topic is totally practical. Any clue from the virtual class or physical class?
For segmentation, product specification, they can design the product according to the
According to the target audience, okay.
set the time periods, the duration of the course.
Yeah, okay. Any insights from the virtual class? Okay. Like having said that, we are living for 70 years. Nicely, we are spending our life even at the age of 20, 25 plus for education. Do you agree with me? Because we think that we are having like from 65, like maybe from 70 years, if we are like deduct 30 years, then we have another 30 years to do the rest of the things in our life. That's why, like even at the age of 20, normal degree program is continuing until 25 years. Because they know that the people live for 65 years or 70. So then, like that's why you can see even your kids. Still, you are investing for the education because you know if you know that another 5 years you are going to die, are you going to stay in the class like this today? Never. Like if you take the country like Uganda, which having life expectancy of how many years? There are some African continent countries which has the life expectancy 45 years. Their life expectancy because I think they have a lot of the diseases, the AIDS and the lot of diseases are there. Because of that, their life expectancy has gone down to 45 years. Then within 45 years, you have to complete all your things in your life. So you have to study, you have to earn, you have to get married, you have to have the production of the next generation, everything by 45 years. But we are nicely spending 20, 25 years because we know that we are living for 65 years. You see, like if it is an education program, if it is an education institute, So if you go to a country like in Uganda or country like the African continent, which is having 45 years of life expectancy, you can't offer the same program. You can't have the same target market. Because the target market in Sri Lanka, you can see the students are coming like 20 years plus, but they are maybe 18 plus or maybe 15 plus. Understand? So that's how like marketeers should see the world, and that's how they have to adjust themselves as per the attributes in the population. Not only increasing, but also you have to go inside and analyze the population and see how you have to address those requirements. I'll keep my mouth shut for 2 minutes for you to take down anything that you're interested. So I discuss about the life expectancy. I discuss about the population dispersion, like more aging population, and how it's linked with the certain products. And like, as you can see, unlike just a few years ago, we can see a lot of gyms, and also Zumba classes, yoga classes. So many the notices that you can see that because we are aging. So now only people are concerned about their health because now it's kind of an alert to them. You are going to die if you are not maintaining yourself well. And then it's an opportunity for marketers. That's the same thing happening in Japan. So that's why they know that once the people become old, they're saying that if you are eating this quality food, then your lifetime will be increased. It's a marketing point, but it's not just cheating marketing, but certainly that product should give that value. And also take down that example, like how the education institute should adapt to the life expectancy. So you can compare the Sri Lankan case where even at the age of 2025, people are following education program because their life expectancy is 70 or 65. But in a African continent, if the life expectancy is 45, so we can't see the people are studying at the age of 20. So they finish all the studies by maybe 50. Even that the traffic light color coding system for sugar level, that's also introduced because Sri Lanka is getting aging population. So that's why. It has become a regulation in fact, but the initiation is that. So the marketeer should adapt to it, not because of it's a rule, but because the customers are getting old, so that they are much concerned about the sugar level and also the fat, the level that they are consuming. So that's why a lot of non-fat products are coming into the market. Unlike those days, and a lot of vitamins, the minerals, that's all coming because it's a potential market for marketeers. If you are considering just few, like 4 or 5 years ago, we didn't have this much of vitamins and the those like some products that's concerned about the health. And plastic surgeries. The surgeries kind of things, if you go to, if any of you belongs to hospital and you see that a lot of services are there, even in Sri Lanka also, just to change the outlook. Is it all right if I'm going to proceed? I'm asking from the virtual class. You have enough time to take down the examples. Come on, time to time I'm asking certain things from the virtual class. I'm expecting response from you. Is that all right if I'm going to go to the next point? Hello, are you there? I need a response from the virtual class to see whether they are available and is it all right for me to go to the next level? There is a one who is always like responding. He is not there today in the class. Sandalwan. He is the one always answering. Today he's not there probably. He might have changed the identification. So I assume that silence always I get it to positive to me. So silence says that you are ready. If not, just disturb me. And the other trend is growing middle class families. So that's also taking place. This is not only limited to Sri Lanka, this is a universal truth. Why we say that middle class families are growing? Why not? Because if we take any society, we can divide the social classes into upper class, middle class, and lower class. And it's been forecasted among these three classes, the middle class families are the one that's growing. And use the whiteboard because it's not visible, but then you have to use. Like this. This is lower class, middle class, and the upper class. So this is the one which is expected. So it's been forecasted by 2030. This will become 60% out of the world population. So in 2030, it's been forecasted in the world population, 60% will contribute from the middle class families. How it happens? Yeah, so because of two reasons. The one thing is because of economic crisis, the rich people become middle class. That's one thing happening. So that's, I think, we as Sri Lankans, we are experiencing it very much. So even the ones those who had a affluent lifetime, now they are slowly coming to the upper middle class. And the other one is like the ones those who are there in the lower class families, they become middle class because of the education. So sometimes like once they are being educated, then their purchasing power goes up, then they are being counted as middle class family. So because of these two reasons, so it says that middle class families are increasing. Then what are the marketing implications out of it? I told you I'm just discussing two things. I just explained the trends and explain like how should marketeers make use of it. So if you are a businessman, so how do you use that trend? You should know, like now the majority is middle class. So whatever the product or services that you are offering, see whether it matches with their requirement. Because then they are looking at certain quality level. Then they can spend only a certain amount. So that we have to offer in a way that matches with the middle class families. Some examples.
Luxury goods is, sorry, produce normal goods instead of luxury goods.
Yeah, so in terms of specifying the quality level, so you have to set the quality standard in a way that matches with the middle class families, not with the affluent class families, luxury people. Okay. And also like that is product specification and even packaging. So you might have seen, if since I'm taking Sri Lankan example, like the lot of product nowadays coming in terms of sachet packets. So I would say like it's the clear indication of economic crisis because the people can't accommodate for the big pack. So that's why they are going for a smaller pack. So that we should understand. So the marketeers, we have to offer the size of the product in a way. First I discuss about the quality of the product, then the size of the product, attributes of the product. That's all should matches with the requirement of the middle class families. That's about the product. And how about the pricing? Why the home appliance, the traders like, I'm taking two companies from Sri Lankan case, Singer Abans, even Damro. Okay. So their pricing terms, how?
Installment.
Installment payment. So that is to match with the middle class families requirement. So that's how marketeers are making use of that trend. Take it down that examples. So it's determine the quality level. It's determine the size of the product. Those are just examples. It's determine some others as well. And also it's determine the attributes of the product. Also the pricing terms, instead of asking people to pay at once, so they have provided the installment payment facilities when the people are purchasing home appliances. And even if you looked at the promotion, the majority of the promotional advertisements, the hoardings or social media or mass media that speak into average people, not very rich people, because they know that the majority is that they are in the middle class families. Okay, so may I go to the next one? Ready? The virtual class, are you ready? I hope you all are ready because the physical students with me, they are fine. Okay. This is a trend that is relevant to Sri Lanka. The other first two, it's common for no matter which country that you are living. In Sri Lanka, the trend is nowadays like the rural population is increasing, not the urban population. That means why it's happening in that way. People are those days like people move from rural areas to commercial areas. Now reverse. From urban areas, people moving to the rural areas. Why is that? Pollution, congestion, what else? High living expenses, because if they are earning and living in Colombo, so sometimes they have to spend the entire salary just for living. Another reason. So they better settle down a little bit far from the commercial areas so that even they can daily travel. Why they can daily travel? Because the infrastructure development. So because of those reasons, now the trend is rural population is increasing. So what market implications are there in it? So rural population is increasing. So then how should the marketeers make use of it?
Transportation.
Yeah, it's provided good transportation. Yeah, opportunities because office transportation, that's traveling from the out of Colombo, from Kandy, Gaul. So from those places, it's a good opportunity. From those rural areas because they are still might be working in the commercial area. Also, it's the good opportunity for like working from home, the change in the working style of the people. What else? What kind of the way that we can use it? And also like we should know if they are earning in commercial area and living in the rural area, that means their purchasing power is substantial. So that's why we can see the supermarkets not limit to commercial areas. Even out of Colombo also, we can see the supermarkets because they know that people living in those areas also, they have good earning power. And even like private hospitals, they also locate out of Colombo because they know that even though they are not living in the commercial area, still their purchasing power is good. So that's how we can use that trend, like locating hospitals, private hospitals, and it's another avenue for transportation. And also it's an opportunity for supermarkets to open up there and even fast food restaurants. Take down those examples, please. Supermarkets, fast food restaurants, the private hospitals, the daycare centers, not limiting to commercial areas, establishing their branches in the rural areas because of the rural population. And the other example is like it provides the transportation, the opportunities where some companies can provide transportation solutions connecting rural and the commercial on daily basis. And also like some kind of apartments where the 5 days they are living, they're staying in Colombo and the weekends they go to their native place. That short time period living commercial area, that's also an opportunity for marketeers. Because they come on Monday and live like 4 or 5 days in Colombo and then Friday going back to the original place. And also it's provide the chance of changing the work schedule, like instead of coming every day for the work, like working from home. Ready? Is it all right if I'm going to? No. And the other two, the bullets, I will explain together because they are interconnected. The female role change, the family system as well. So the changing family system and the changing role of women. So I'll explain together because of the change that happen in the role of women, consequence the family system change. How come? It says that the role of women has changed. Do you agree? How? How do you say that the women role has been changed in the society? Yeah, because like I don't know the virtual students, I don't know from which country that exactly are being joining with us. So among the South Asian continent, like the Sri Lanka, we have like basically equal rights for the education. When compared to the other countries like Bangladesh, India, and Pakistan, they have some social restrictions. So where they have set role for a female. So if you are being a female, this is what you have to do. But luckily, I don't know whether luckily or unluckily. So then, so long as we are in Sri Lanka, the equal right, the gender discrimination is not there for the education. So that's why we can see the females are highly motivated for the education. Even parents also, they don't discriminate whether you have a girl or a boy. The same, the treatment is there for the education. That's why we can see a lot of educated, the females are being created by the country, by the education system, I would say. Like that you can nicely see, like of course in this class, the majority is male, but I have personally experienced my original place at the university, when we were as students, like our batch like 50-50, 50% male and 50% female. But now if you go to the university, like roughly we have 1,200 students per batch. I would say like 60 to 70% girls. So it says like 1 to 3 rate, or at least 1 to 2. Okay. So that means for a 1 boy, 2 girls, or 3 girls. That's the rate. Okay. And also like the other one is like what it says. What does it indicate? If the more females are there in a particular bachelor's batch, what does it say? If the population is almost like 49%, 50%, 51%, the population is almost like 50-50. But when it comes to the university entrance, more females, but comparatively less males. What does it say? Males are not being educated. And also like the thing is like once you go to the graduation, so all the good passes, females are taking. So the males, even though they are completing, sometimes they are just completing with a general pass. Or the classes are like, I personally observing that one in most of the discipline, that's the case. So that they won't stay at home. So once they have been educated, they won't stay at home. So they will become like, that's what the one of you said, like the earning females are there. Okay. That's okay. And that of course it's create another social issue. What was the social issue?
So,
Household problems would create. And also like being Asian culture, like we have like male dominating culture. Like the majority of the Asian culture, it says that the like I would say the main person in the family should be a male. The father dominating culture. Okay, male dominating culture, but practically females are more educated so that they start earning more. So it's a kind of a like emotional threat for a male. So it's a social clash. It's one side. Okay. So once if I'm coming back to the commercial side of it, once the female role like change like that, once they start earning. So then how the marketeers are make use of it. Even though they are changing their role, like now they become earners to the family, but there are certain other commitments still they have to do. What those commitments are? You may have to cook for the family. You have to have the babies for the family. So you have to take care of your babies. And you have to take care of your family members. Maybe your immediate family, and as per the Asian culture, you are the parents as well. Okay. So the females are playing multiple roles simultaneously. At a point, you are an employee. And also you are a wife. You are a mother. And also you are the one who is taking care of the house. So then like how it happens, it's a good opportunity for marketeers. Playing multiple roles simultaneously or very frequently changing. How come it's a good opportunity? So that they are providing a lot of solutions to their problems. So that's why I'm saying that good opportunity. So then so certain points like we have to play multiple roles so that we are finding a solution to some of the tasks. So then it's a good opportunity for marketers. Example. Fast food, yes. So this is like in the night time, 7 to 9, I would say a lot of restaurants are so busy in Sri Lanka. Because that's the time where the people are going back home. So they don't have time to cook, so fast food. Eating out.
Yes.
Daycare centers. Because their role is to take care of this, but they can't do it by themselves, so that they are looking for a solution. What else? Hundreds of opportunities are there for marketers. What else? Transport. School transport, office transport, driving license. and the vehicles, because sometimes one vehicle may not be sufficient, so you have to have two vehicles because it's two different routines. What else? Cut vegetables. You can see if you go to the supermarkets, like the vegetables are being cut and put it into a pack, and then it's easy. And the coconut. So the time consuming tasks, they have nicely identified. So they provide the solution for it. What else? Maids. The housemates to taking care of the cleaning stuff, and I would say like cleaning places where you can take all the clothes and do the cleaning outside. Laundries, yes. What else? There are some more that I wish to take those examples from the females. Since I'm also a female, like those things are coming from me, but I wish if you also can think. Cosmetics, office wears, the salons, shoes, handbags, accessories. Huge market for people, isn't it? Mobile phones, connections, because you are handling everything from the phone, isn't it? So that's how the family system has been changed. Because like sometimes you may not speak to each other in the family, like you are coordinating your family over the phone, isn't it? So then the time of having the dinner, so time of doing like routine tasks, it's all have been changed. And the time of taking care of the children. So that's because of the role change of women that has affected the family system change. Family system spending pattern has been changed. The location of the family has been changed. And also the help that you are getting from the other has been changed. And it's a good opportunities for a short time transport providers like Trishows. Because you have to arrange everything to pick up your son or daughter from this place because now you're in the office. So that like it's a very clustered and also like it's very challenging. So sometimes you don't have an option. So that anyway you have to go for it. So that's all coming as marketing opportunities. Take them, please. And you know that like in Sri Lanka, some insurance, they specifically saying that this is targeted for females. So where you don't need to worry about if there is a breakdown. So you don't need to worry about what's went wrong. So we come and take care of the entire thing. And also like some the learners, those who are giving the license, and they say that like this is for auto vehicles because they know that mainly females are using auto vehicles. So likewise, it's a good opportunity for marketeers. And even in the other countries where, unlike in the Asian continent, so sometimes like the monitoring, they are using the technology because unlike in the Asian culture, the parental support is not happening in the developed countries, so that they are using the technology. So sometimes they keep the babies and with the camera. So observing like what's going on, like if the baby is not moving, of course, like then something like either try to get the solution from the technology or from the human being. We as Asians, we are getting the support from both. And even office wears. If you go to a clothing retail shop, so you see like in terms of the composition, majority it's been allocated for females. Daycare centers, school transport. short-term transport providers, housemaids, chop vegetables, grinded coconut, laundries, beauty salons, telecommunication providers, I don't know whether you have seen that a particular video. They are I think, unlike in Sri Lanka, so because once the female become more busy, because they have to play multiple roles, and sometimes to their certain occasions, they have to wear the traditional, I can't say traditional, it's like the customs dress of sari. So you may not have enough time to dress it. So from India, they have created a particular the way of dressing a sari like a trouser. So they are wearing a sari like a trouser and just a good way of putting it. The opportunity for females. Understand? Like make the life easy. Okay. You see how much the female has changed the society, and it's a good opportunity for ladies. Okay, so then I'll go to the next one. Better educated, more white collared and more professional population. Now, as a consequence to the female moving towards the education, and also the males also, like, so long as the education is free in Sri Lanka, but it may be a questionable in the future, like even though the education is free, but the stationaries are very expensive. And then I don't know whether how far that people will continue with the education. So it's a real, it would be a real problem in the future. At the moment, we have a lot of educated people. And once they have educated, I think this is something unique for the Asian culture. If you are educated, you want to have a white collar job, more professional job. Because they are from the society itself, it's discriminate. But that is not the case in the Western culture. Either you educated or not, no matter which kind of a job that you are doing, but you are being equally treated by the society, and also you are equally well in terms of living standard. But in Sri Lankan context, if I ask you to, if I think you to ask why you want to spend your weekend to follow another education program, why you want to spend the weekend? I would say I'm not talking about the financial, the amount of money that you are putting out. I'm asking you have decided to spend your weekend, both virtual students and the physical students, for a certain period of time. I'm not asking your answer specifically because I do respect you, but you have an answer in your mind. Okay. So among that answer, I know that what common is your next promotion. You want to enhance your career. So you want to have a much more better life. So that's the reason. So then we think as Asians, more the education, a good job, so more earning. Okay. So that's been the connected to each other. So that people want the more professional kind of job. Okay. So then what's the marketing implication in it? Something else, in fact, came to my mind, but frankly, in the Sri Lankan context, the more educated, the better life. It's a big question. It's a big question because one student the one, even though I'm a lecturer, I'm more kind of a researcher. So she wants to do research on the social class differences, upper class, middle class, and lower class. So typically in the world, we can go to the upper class if you are more educated, because the three social classes, it's the criteria for us to decide: income, education, wealth. Based on those three, we decide whether we are in the upper class, middle class, or lower class. That means these three, it says that it should be consistent. More the educated, more income and more wealth. But in Sri Lanka, it's a bit questionable because if you're looking at the politicians, more income and more wealth, but less educated. As I say, this is a bit questionable in Sri Lankan context, but generally we believe like more the education, we can go for a better position so that we look for a white collar job. That means job that we have to do in an office, not on the street. So how the marketeers are making use of it. Then I asked that student, don't do it because Sri Lanka is not a place to do it because we can't really get the social class of it. How marketeers should use it. Yeah, so you can promote the education. It's a good opportunity for education institutes to provide professional courses and also like extended courses, like what you are doing. Like even though you are being away from the education for some time, then it's providing a pathway to be connected and then go up in your education so that you can go for a better job either in Sri Lanka or in another place. Okay. Yeah, it's a good opportunity for education institutes. What else? And also, like, if you see, if you go to the clothing designers, most of the dresses what we are wearing, both male and female, the professional looking dress for the workplace. So sometimes, like those who are really not doing a professional job in the workplace, but you want to dress as a professional person. Understand? So it's a good opportunity for the people, those who are doing the clothing retailing. Take down those examples, please. And even like whenever you are naming the job positions, marketing executive, customer care executive, that executive term has been used because people want executive level of a job. I hope the virtual class is okay. So in case if some problems are there, either you can't understand me or else I'm going a little fast. So you can drop me at least chat message if you are not in a position to unmute your mic. Okay, the last, but of course not the least, the trend that's relevant to the demographic environment is increasing diversity. What does that mean? People are different from each other. So nowadays diversity, it's very substantial. So that's why, like, even if you take some brothers and sisters, or like the same family, but the different personalities. Maybe even twin brothers or sisters. The same mother and father, same environment of growing up, and then sometime maybe going to the same school, but two different preferences if they go to a like dining out. So the one would ask one product and another one would ask another product. The diversity is really high nowadays. And also that diversity is very frequently changing. Just think about yourself. One day you like vanilla ice cream. After a few times you say, no, I don't like vanilla. No, I want chocolate. That's the nature of people. But it's a good point for marketers. How come? One side it's challenging, but another side it's good. So if you're looking at the good side, when the diversity increases, it's a good for businessmen. How come? Yeah, because you have you can offer many versions of products. So you see that how many flavors of ice creams are there in the Sri Lankan market. So when I was small, I just one flavor, just vanilla. That's it. Or hardly chocolate. But I think you also not aware how many flavors are there. And how many flavors of soap? How many, I mean, the colors of soap. And how many varieties? And how many varieties of shampoos, especially for personal care products. That because of the diversity. Because the people are anyway, they are different in terms of their requirements. So that different, it's an opportunity for marketeers. So sometimes those differences are being created by the marketeers. Because we didn't ask black color shampoo from Sunsilk. They are giving it and they are saying that this is good for long hair. And then if you are having a long hair, if you want to have a long hair, then you have an option. Understand? Okay. So the Unilever is telling that if you want to have, if your teeth is sensitive, then we are having this one. So if you want to have the herbal mixture to the toothpaste, then sometimes you are not required to have a herbal essence, but then you feel like, oh, no, so I should try that. So that is sometimes it's being created by the marketers, but anyway, it's a good sign for marketers, the diversity increases. Understand? Taking down those examples. Different versions of the same product because of the increasing diversity. Example, you can take down different flavors of ice cream, different clothing designs, different versions of soap, toothpaste, the shampoo, cream. Even a lot of fashion items, dressing, the clothing item, shoes, handbags, accessories. The varieties are being offered a lot, that because of the diversity. It's one way it's positive, but the other way it's negative. How come it's negative? Now I discuss about the positive side because it's provide a good opportunity for marketers to fulfill that diversity. Even if you take fruit juice or even carbonated soft drink, how many versions are there? So it's the diversity. Okay. So how about the negative side of it? How come it's a challenging for marketers?
Extra cost.
Yeah, you have to come up with the new versions of products. So it would be an initial investment, research and development. Yeah. Also, your market is very competitive. Because if it is just having couple of versions, then only few options are there for customers. But if many options are there in the market, so then today your customer may not be tomorrow with you. Tomorrow, the customer might be with another brand. That's become very competitive because of the diversity. And also the diversity is very frequently changing so that very hardly you can predict what would happen next. So one day you like to have coffee, then the next day, no, I don't want coffee today, I will have a soft drink. So then no one is asking why you are changing. Yeah, I'm changing because I like it. I changed my mind. And that's of course not happening in the Asian context, but in the developed world, even for dresses, it's the same. So you purchase it today and tomorrow you are returning it, but of course not wearing. And then you are returning it, say that, no, I changed my mind. So now I don't want this. But I said that still that practice has not come in Sri Lankan context because Asian content. Otherwise, people today they bring and they wear it, tomorrow they might return it saying that I changed my mind. So it has not that challenging yet in Asian continent, but that is the case in the developed country. Even the diversity increases, it's common to any market. It's not limited to Sri Lankan context, but better education, rural population, yeah, those are a bit unique to Sri Lankan context. Any questions so far before we go for a break? You understand, like each trend, you should know whether it's a positive or negative for marketeers and how should they use it. Those are the only 2 points that you should be aware. Clear? So if that is the case, like the time is 3:20, so we are normally going for 20 or 20, 25 minutes of break. So we'll take the break and I'll keep the session on, but the virtual students also, you can take a break of 25 minutes. Okay, I hope had a good break. And during the break, I uploaded the slides that I'm discussing now to the LMS. You can check it. That means it's done. Is it all right if I'm going to start? So I have already finished the one environment, which is the demographic environment. Now let me go to the other one. Same style, like I'm talking about just 2 points. One is what trends are there, and the other one is how should marketeers address it. So now economic environment, it's talking about the demographic environment, it's talking about the people's attributes. But economic environment is talking about the people's purchasing power. So consumers' purchasing power and their spending patterns. So we have to have an idea about, like, if you are working for a particular market, I would say, like, if we are doing a business in Sri Lanka or maybe in Pakistan or in India or England, whatever the country, you have to have an idea about what is the economic situation of that country. That is what simply it says. So at least in these aspects, but these aspects are not the only aspects. These are just the key aspects where we have to keep our eye on. So the one of the economic side that we can consider is the inflation. You have to have an idea about the inflation of the country. How about the inflation of Sri Lanka? So once I soon ask about the inflation of Sri Lanka, so we get little stuck. How? Why is that? The number what I'm telling today will change tomorrow. It's a very bad economic situation that we are facing. Is there any ideal inflation rate that a particular country should maintain? Certainly it cannot be zero. That means same price for the main commodities. That is too unrealistic. So if that is the case, do you have any clue as practitioners, what would be the ideal inflation rate for a country to maintain?
The single digit one.
It should be a single digit number. So that means less than 10. If a particular country is having an inflation, which is less than 10, so that's why for a longer period of time, as per the central bank records, we have 7 to 8%. 7%, 8%, but it's a big question mark whether it's the true number, because they just want to keep less than 2 digits number. So unless otherwise the rest of the world will see Sri Lanka is having economic crisis, but finally it's they are trying to keep the ball under the water, but it was clash. Okay. Now even whatever the policies that can't control the inflation rate, because it's for certain the goods, even some food items, it's more than 100%. 200%, 300% ones also there. Okay. So within the last year. So it's a so dangerous situation. Okay. And that is one side. So why so why the marketeers are so worried about the inflation? The same point, situation, the trend, we feel about it, and then you have to think about how should the businessmen address it, and how does it affect the businessman? Yeah, because the price in the product would be really challenging for businessmen, because the costing what they are doing today may not be the same tomorrow, especially in the construction field in Sri Lanka. So sometimes they stop giving the quotations because they know that if they are giving a quotation today, and then sometimes they say that this quotation only for this week. Because they know that like if the company or government institute it's agreeing, okay, we will give you the construction, you start the construction, probably it will take like 6 months. So by the time of 6 months, they can't do the construction for the price that they have already given. So because of the price escalation of all the imports. So the pricing, it's really challenging, especially for certain industries. And it's commonly there for almost all the industries. Because of what? So the inflation would be contribute. So how come we get this kind of a huge inflation? Because it's a very abnormal situation. As practitioners, so where it went wrong? Mismanagement of finance, yes. And some other reasons. How this inflation it's created.
More funds is assets which they won't provide back.
Return, yeah. Wrong investment decisions, yeah, wrong financial management. And also like less production. The exchange rate, we can't control it. It has become out of control because we are heavily depending on imports. And also like the people are having the money, but the production is not there. So that they are demanding, but the supply is not there. For 1 unit price, it's automatically going up. Like say for an example, if I have a water bottle and 5 of you want that water bottle, but if I have just one, I would say that no, I can't give. Then one would say that I will give you 500 rupees. Then I say that no. So another one would say I will give you 600 rupees. Another one would say 700, 800, even it will go up to 1000 rupees because the supply is less than the demand. So how come the demand is high? Because people are having the money, but that money doesn't have a value because the like say, you might be more experts than me. When a particular country is the printing the cash, so they have to consider the reserve. Based on the reserve, only the central bank should give the authority this much of the cash can be printed. But during the last couple of years, they have not considered those kind of financial policies. They ad hocly printed the cash. The cash is there with the people, especially for paying the salary for government servants. So people are having the cash so that they are demanding. The production is not that speed, so automatically inflation goes up. So they are trying to rectify it from the savings. Here it says savings and credit availability. So how come the government is going to rectify that? Try to control the inflation.
Interest.
Bank interest rate, yeah, because suddenly they increase the deposit rate. So like just few months ago, it was like 7-8% for the fixed deposits, and suddenly it has gone up to like 15%, and now I think 25% or something for certain fixed deposits. Okay. So why is that? Because they want to absorb the excess cash they are with the people's hand. Because if the peoples are having more cash, they will be more demanding. Then again, the inflation will go up. Is it a good strategy? Still, the inflation is going up. And that is very dangerous for the banking system as well. How come it's dangerous for the banking system? Yeah, so one thing is like they have to pay the interest. To pay the interest, say for an example, if I'm depositing like 1 million for a particular bank, so I'm expecting say 25% interest out of it. So after like 1 year's time, so the bank should give me the interest rate plus the amount that I have deposited. So what's the income of the bank then? How the bank is paying that interest to me? What's the bank income?
Bonds.
The lending rate. So when the deposit rate is 25%, the lending rate is how much? Now it has gone up to 30%. So people are not taking money from the bank, no lending. Because who wants to take the interest rate at a 30%? So it's so dangerous, the banking system will also be collapsed. So you might be more experts than me just to analyze like how this goes. So that's what it says like the interest rate. So they are trying to manipulate just as a way of controlling the inflation. But that is also may not be, it's like a short-term decision, but it's not a long-term decision. So that we have to be alert on it. And also like, other reason like why the inflation is going up as such. One is we don't have much of a production. And another reason was mismanagement of the financial policies, where without considering the reserve, they have gone for the cash production. What else? And they have been using a lot of reserves, because you know that every country should have to keep some reserve in terms of gold. So in that is a must for every country. But during the last couple of like 5-10 years, so all the people, those who are ruling the country, they have been used that reserve unnecessarily. The reserve have gone down, so our exchange rate is very weak as a country. So we have gone out like less developed stage. And since we are talking about the economic situation, Sri Lanka is having a very bad economic crisis. Yeah, there's no way like even if you are not rectifying it, and what's the other reason? Electricity bill. Like will go up as a rocket speed. Even at the moment also Sri Lanka is having the highest electricity bill in Asia. So how come that we get a lot of foreign income? Because to get the foreign income, like the foreign currency, we have to export. But if our products are not competitive enough to export, because we have to compete with other countries. So if we take China, say for an example, for garment, the clothing items that we are basically exporting, the main income source, so that we have to compete with China, we have to compete with Vietnam, Bangladesh, India. So in China, like though they are not accepting officially, the government is the bearing 30% of the electricity bill. That means like only the businessmen in the clothing industry, they have to pay only 70%. Other 30% is government is paying. They are really paying, not just that the way that our electricity board and the government is having deal, then the electricity board also in a loss. Okay. So the government actually they are making that payment. So that anyway their prices are lower than our prices by 30% just because of the electricity bill. So then like again, it's like a vicious cycle. The inflation, it's been contributed by so many factors. So that's why even the recent discussion, if they further increase, the rest of the people will close down their businesses, and even the orders that they have already placed to Sri Lankan, the businessmen, they will recall. Okay, then like how should marketers address it? That is the actual situation.
All of us.
Yeah, that's like we can go for certain alternative sources of the energy that is specifically for electricity. But then again, the other side, like if you are looking at the stages of the business cycle, the most of the businesses that's operate in Sri Lanka, they are in a very like dangerous situation. So they are very afraid to make an investment. So even giant companies also, they are thinking whether to invest in Sri Lanka or to have a factory close by. So that's why some factories like the Brandex, they have moved their manufacturing plant to Bangladesh. All Sri Lankan workers are working for high skill. I mean, not for the manufacturing plant, but for like where you need more brain, work study, the designing and then the calculation, the production planning and those kind of things, where you need a lot of brain capacity. Sri Lankan people are working. But that's a national contribution for Bangladesh, because the employment opportunity is gone for them. So the business cycles also, status of the businesses, they're also in like a very dangerous situation. So they might be little afraid to invest in their own company so long as it's located in Sri Lanka. So then still marketers are surviving. So they have to be very much concerned about the pricing terms. So that's why like, even if you go for like very expensive products, like automobiles, lands, and these days you see how many, if you take a paper, how many lands on sale? How many like houses itself on sale? Why? Because the one reason a lot of brain drain, like a lot of people are leaving out from the country. I really recommend it because you have to, if you are leaving, you have to have a stand over there. So then it's a different story. Then that is, it shows like the people are little reluctant to invest on those kind of like expensive things. And even for home appliances, as I told you, like Singer, Barnes, Namro, those are the leading the home appliance traders in Sri Lanka. So those days they say that, okay, either you pay at once and take whatever the home appliances at home. Then after that they change, like you have installment payment, but it's at this much of interest. But now they say that interest is zero, no interest. But you take the product, you pay in installment. How those businesses are surviving? Because like taking the product today, but today you are not getting the cash also. You are getting the cash in maybe 24 months as installment. That means in 2 years time only, the full money will come to the business. How those businesses are surviving? Is it a viable decision? Those are the marketing insights that we can take out of this. Why the businessmen are changing to that kind of pricing terms? Because it's a technical industry. Suppose that as Singer or Barnes, they have invested on a particular the version of TV or refrigerators or washing machine. Okay. So if no one is going to buy them, in another 5 years' time, the technology will be outdated. Then in 5 years' time, anyway, the people will not buy outdated technology. So it's good, like they are calling the people and saying that you take this. Don't give the money today. You give the money 24 installments. So, but at least like if you are going to sell that kind of product for 10 people, from the next month, installment 10, you will get it to the company. So at least step by step, you will convert their stocks into cash. So that cash you can reinvest to import new version of products. So that's how they are like rolling their business. So for the marketers, it's good. Then again, it's practical. Understand? And how about like, if you look at the unemployment in Sri Lanka? I will discuss all these things in general, then after that I'll leave some time for you to take the round of notes. How about our unemployment rate? Unemployment means what? What do you mean by unemployment? People, those who are willing and able to work, but there is no working opportunities. They can and they like to work, but still no jobs. That is what it says, unemployment. Okay. So any idea like what should be the ideal, the rate of unemployment for a particular country? Again, it cannot be zero. Roughly in the world, like there are some world standards. The inflation should be a 1-digit number. The unemployment should be this much, something like that. So unemployment, roughly how much that we can expect? 5%. Says that if your country unemployment is roughly like the 5%, so that means your economic situation is in a better shape. But of course, in Sri Lanka, it's quite high. Okay. So then, like, if it is very high, like what kind of marketing implications we can take out of it? How the businessmen are like, if, having said that, Sri Lanka is having high unemployment rate, how not only marketers, I would say that how the businessmen are making use of it. You can easily recruit the people. Because many people are, they are already qualified, they wish to work, but there are no job opportunities. So therefore, then temporary positions, and also whether you are confirming your job or you are just see the performance and then confirm, So those kind of employment terms, you can revisit. You don't need to recruit the people on permanent basis because you know that a lot of thousands of other good people are there in the market. What else? Even though the people, a lot of people, they wish and they are able to work, but they don't have a work. They don't have a job. But they are human beings. The biologically certain requirements are automatically created. Some needs, even though they don't have a job, they feel hungry. They need some essential things to fulfill as a human being. So they will find the financial source, either ethical or unethical, legal or illegal. So a lot of illegal operations would come into the sea because of unemployment. Because anyhow, like you be in hunger for 1 week, you do anything to get the food. So we can't blame that person because it's a biological thing. So that we should understand as a marketeers, like you have to be very much concerned about the security whenever you are bringing the cash from one place to another. And also like if you are in industry like of expensive product like jewelries, the vehicles, where the asset is movable. So you have to pay a lot of precautions for the security. Of course, it's a houses or construction, so then the robbers can't take itself. But for those kind of mobile expensive products, you have to be more concerned. And also like it's more challenging how we are going to attract the people because majority in the previous one, I said that the majority is middle class. Now you are in the jewelry industry. And the inflation is high, unemployment is high, like the economic situation is in a so horrible situation. Then your target market, you should understand now your target market purchasing power as a whole going down. So that you have to change all your products. That's why we can see a lot of like less quality products. Street food, you see how many street foods are there in Sri Lanka? And also like how many sachet products? Sachets, almost all the consumables now are coming in sachets. So that shows the like very bad situation of the country. Even sauce, butter, everything, shampoo, everything smaller version. And also like the inferior quality of soap. So once suddenly if the soap prices went up, so then the inferior quality of soaps are in the market. So the people will go. The more dangerous thing is the food. You see, like the street food, it's a totally different trend. For the marketeers, it's an opportunity. Even rich people, like middle class families, now they are becoming poor. So instead of buying something quality food, they will buy something available and can afford. So that's why smaller version of fish buns and the rolls and everything you can see on the street with the cart. No one cares about the quality. And no one cares about like the preservations that they have put. And no one cares about what it is they are. And also it might create some dangerous diseases in the future, like cancer. I don't know whether you are aware, like for the official cancer hospital in Sri Lanka, Apeksha, it's called, like every day 76 people are being registered. So that all reflection of the downturn of economic situation. And how about like the credit availability of the people? Credit availability. And I'm connecting it with the spending pattern. If I ask you to list down from your salary for what that you are spending, hardly you have something left to save, isn't it? Even though some people like those days, they used to save something, but now nothing to save. So that is the credit availability, savings habit. Spending pattern has changed. So we are spending, we are earning for eating. Understand? Not for development. Especially with the tax which effect from the 1st of January, this would be more dangerous. So why it would be more dangerous? People may stop working. Understand? Like how it goes to the businessmen, how it goes to the the particular country's performance. Because suppose that if you have like, say from the Sri Lankan rupees, if you have like, say 400,000 per month. So if you have a tax of like 100,000, then you are getting 300,000. So your productivity will go down. So the employee productivity will go down. So it will be a huge threat to the businessmen. Because now everyone is, it's like the getting their living standards down. The productivity will go down in terms of the individual, so that their contribution will go down, and as a business, it will collapse. Because no motivation to earn. So, but for some others, it's a good opportunity. If you don't have a money, like if you're having the salary, like say 10th of a particular month, until the next 10th of the next month, if you don't have, sometimes like once you go to the last week before the next salary comes, the people might be empty pocket. The last week of the month, it's so dangerous. Months means I think before just the next salary date. That because of the spending pattern and also your credit availability. But for some people, it's an opportunity. For whom? Home, like without, like normally we say that in the commercial term, when the people are having the money, it's good for marketers. But when the people don't have the money, that is also good for some marketers. Yeah, credit cards. So because people don't want to take the loan, the official form of loan, but they will take the credit card, professional way of taking the loan. Isn't it? Like with the status, you're under loan. So it's a good opportunity for banks and the financial institutes. So that's why you can see, like very recently, almost all the banks, they're offering credit card facilities, even if you are looking at the commercials. The commercials that they are promoting, they won't promote deposits. Savings accounts, the fixed deposits, current account, nothing they are promoting, but they are promoting credit cards. Because they know that that's the only place at the moment they can get the interest. Because I think the credit card interest rate is almost like 30% effective rate. So likewise, like the marketers are always looking at how we are changing the products and what we are giving to the market. Outsource and free trade, outsourcing. Outsourcing means like it could be within the country, you are taking something from another company, or else offshoring. Offshoring means like you are purchasing from another country, imports. Sri Lanka massively depending on offshoring, like importing a lot of stuff. That's why the foreign currency, foreign exchange rate is deteriorating very drastically. So it was under control, but once it's become natural, automatically it goes down because of the imbalance of the balance of payment. Okay, so that we should, and some of the things like, of course, even the marketer is also unable to control, unless otherwise, like you are doing everything from a stable currency. If you are doing everything from a stable currency like dollars, then it's all right, but it is not practical because certain payments we have to make in Sri Lankan rupees. Sometimes you are doing the costing, but by the time you are making real payment, it will be more than that you have to pay out because of the deteriorating rate of the exchange rate. Take down those examples, how the inflation impact and how the interest rate and how the credit card and unemployment. One more thing I have to discuss, like income distribution. How about the income distribution of Sri Lanka? So there is, I don't know whether you have heard about it, like there is economic theory. Pareto theory, have you heard about? There is a theory called Pareto theory that is coming from economics. So it says that in any economy, 20% of the income should be with the 80% of the people. We say that 80-20 theory. 80% of the income should be 20% of the people. So that means anyway, income is not equally distributed. Income distribution, it's not practical. Just imagine like, I don't know whether you are already aware of it. Say that we have an exam. So suppose that if I ask you to sit for an exam for a particular paper, and then some are got very good marks, like 80, 70, above 70. And others got very weak marks, like 20, 18, something like that. What I will do is, I take all the marks as a batch that you have taken and add and divide by number of students in the batch. And everyone got the equal marks. The ones, those who perform very well, like 80, something like that, 20s, they will be very happy because they suddenly got good marks, even though their real performance are down. The ones in the up, they will be so sad because even though they perform well, they are got lower marks. Suppose that I did it like the beginning of the semester, then somewhere in the middle, again, I'm doing another paper. Say the first time, the average mark of the class would be like, say, 60%. In the second paper, do you think it will be 60 or less than 60 in average? Less than 60, because motivation changes. The people, those who are performing well, now they are not performing because they know that anyway, no matter how much that I'm scoring, I'm getting average. The ones, those who are less performing, they are also not performing because they know that even though I'm not performing, I'll get a good mark. So then altogether, no one works. So that's what happened to Sri Lanka because of the direct tax. Because the way that the direct tax has gone, higher the earners, higher the tax. So they think that that tax they are taking and giving to the normal people for like their living standard. But they say that the normal people would think anyway, we are getting something to eat and live. The people, those who are really earning and really contributing to the nation, they think that no point of working because even though we are working, we are getting a less salary. So why should we work? We stop working. So that automatically country will collapse. So the income distribution is something so carefully we have to think about. It's economics says that you have to maintain the 80-20 theory. It shouldn't be equal because if it is equal, the economy will collapse. As the example I told you with the marks. So 80% of the income always should be with the 20% of the people. But in Sri Lankan case, 80% of the income is not with the 20% of the people. It may be 5 to 10% of the people. So the majority is poor. So the 20% is maybe with the 90% with the people. So that is also we have to take in our mind. So then the majority is become poor. So that means they might be looking for less quality product and the easy payments. And also they are not worried about like the future consequences, especially for food item. We took down those ones. If I'm summing up each by each, inflation will bring marketeers a challenging for pricing, and also they have to increase the prices. But if they unnecessarily increase the prices, they have to sacrifice the demand, or else like they have to change the pricing terms, or they have to move to a smaller package sizes like sachet packet, or they have to sacrifice the quality of the product. As per the imbalance income distribution, as per the world standard of Pareto theory, 80-20 theory, if a particular country doesn't have that Pareto theory, like as the case in Sri Lanka, the majority of people are poor, so that the marketeer should understand majority is poor, so that what you are offering, it's practically should be inferior. And for the pricing terms, you can take down the examples like some home appliances changing from one-time payment to installment payment even without the interest. Unemployment causes the marketeers to recruit people freely, and the peoples become less demanding whenever go for the job recruitment. And also it's create a lot of unethical, illegal operations in the society. Because to fulfill the natural biological requirements, people anyhow earn the money. That's why the drugs and those kind of like illegal way of like just forgetting the situation, the people will adapt to that one. So that once the social issues are raising like that, you have to be more concerned about the safety. Safety of especially movable expensive products like vehicles, jewelries. So the people, those who are working business in those industries, you have to have extra precautions for the security. And due to the changes in the spending pattern, having said that, the majority of the earnings people are spending for like just for living, the savings rate has gone down. So people are reluctant to go for credit because of the less ability of repaying. Despite the fact that the banks are increasing the interest rate, still it's not attractive because people may not have enough money to deposit in the banks, even though the interest rate is high. So that in the long run, it will collapse the banking system because when the people are not lending, the banks may not have the opportunity of earning interest because lending and the deposit rate, that difference is the bank earning. So one way directly it's a threat, but the banks have nicely offer a credit card because of the people's credit availability. They are in a huge threat. And if you look at the stages of the business cycle, a lot of businesses are just in the stage of surviving or either surviving or closing down. One who would sustain in the market, like if anyhow, even after a decade or so, if it is survive, if the economy is survive, those who like sustain and holding, they may have a good opportunity, but it's again depending on the national policies and the economic situation. And if a particular country is depending a lot of outsourcing and offshoring, it's an indication where your exchange rate is deteriorating. So out of your control, automatically you are losing. It's not that you are weakness, but that your currency that you are using is weak. So that like say, whenever you are importing something, the agreement says you have to pay like $50. By the time you are really paying the money, so by that time, suppose that you agreed in somewhere in January, early January, but your real payment is happening somewhere in March. So in January, the dollar purchasing rate may be, suppose that if it is 300, in March, it may be 350. From $1, you are automatically losing 50 rupees. So if it is $50, so then without your control, you are losing. Do you understand the way that I'm explaining? Okay. I believe like 1 or 2 minutes for you to complete the notes. And the other dangerous thing is like for certain industries, because of this, the bad economic situation, sometimes people may totally stop consuming. Some examples. Milk powder, what happened to the milk powder? Like maybe a giant company, but now the people have stopped consuming it. There was a case like, just I can't exactly remember what was that year. There was a rumor saying that, not a rumor, there's a showcase, I suppose. Like the cancer cause ingredients are there in the milk powder, but even that time also people demanded it. Now people are not demanding milk powder because of unaffordable price. And another market where the people sees the demand. The demand itself is seized. No, we don't buy it. That is dangerous for marketeers. That's depending on the nature of the industry that you are in. If it is not an essential product, people quickly decide, no, we don't want. Biscuits, yes. Then other one is biscuits, and it's been a perishable product because full cream milk powder, which is having a specific lifetime. And also like even for biscuits. So after a particular lifespan, so anyway, they have to convert that into cash. Otherwise, the business will not run. Because the owners can't take the money from home. So the money that they have invested, they should convert into cash to go for the next month or the next year. So that's why you can see in the modern trade in the supermarkets, the very frequently biscuits are every day, the different versions of biscuits are on discounted price. That because like they are checking the lifespan. If the expiry date is getting closer, they take that biscuit and saying that today this is for this price. That because anyhow they want to convert that into cash. Understand? That is also bad consequence of this because there would be the situation where the people may seize the demand, like automobiles. People won't buy. And the other one is natural environment. From the term itself, like we are talking about the environment, like certain changes that's taking place in the environment. Natural environment involves natural resources that are needed as inputs by marketeers or that are affected by marketing activities. This is some of the key trends that are like, most of them are universal, regardless which country that you are in, like that is common. Shortage of raw materials, poor energy sources, because we have like recreational ones and the unrecreational ones. Like if you are getting the solar, that create itself. But if you are getting the crude oil, so it will take like the longer period of time to create itself, though it is a natural resource. So if the consumption rate is higher than the production rate, then that will be running out quickly. So that's why it says that the raw material shortage is there. So that's why the only solution for the businessmen is, so that is one of the reasons for the high electricity. Of course, like Vietnam is a unique case. So what are the other implications of the shortage of raw material? If the fuel prices are going up, and then you have to look for alternative power sources because you can't stop your business. So that's why nowadays people are very much concerned about like the solar power. Even though initial investment is huge, they say that like the repayment period, if the initial investment is covered like within first 5 years, they may go for that investment. That one alternative to address this one is looking for alternative power sources as businessmen for raw material shortage. What else? Automobile industry, it would be in a real threat because of this. Because no point of having automobiles if there is no power source. Like we, of course, Sri Lankans, we experienced this just few months ago. The vehicles are there, but they are in the garage. There's no fuel. So the people use the different the modes of transportation. Only energy people had was foot. Because even the buses also didn't work, the public transportation also didn't work. So that's why the foot cycle prices really went up like a rocket speed. It was a very auspicious asset. Otherwise, walking. And people didn't walk in the jogging path, people walk on the road. So that's automobile industry is in a real threat if you have shortage of raw materials. So how they are surviving, how they have to survive in the future, because it's a universal threat. If you take like Middle Eastern, they are the ones those who are providing fuel for the entire world. They're the main fuel suppliers. So then the Middle Eastern also they have realized, because naturally they are being it's like a natural gift from the earth, they get those ones, but that will be running out. So as a country, what kind of a solution? Because that's their main income source. Now the main income source will be finished. They're like, take some time, but anyway, it will finish. So how those that is a marketing point. So how those the businessmen are forecasting their income source. Middle Eastern people, how they have seen their future as a implication for this one. I told you like this is a universal thing. Yeah, wind power, yes, they can use that one. They can go for alternative power sources, but as a country, they may lose their income source. So what would be the solution for that? For certain countries, this is a dangerous situation. Not of course for Sri Lanka, because we have to go for alternative power sources. For certain economies, like as I said, Middle Eastern,
They are moving towards energy source based income,
yeah, like what?
tourism.
Yeah. So you can see the Dubai and those, they are investing hugely, massively for different kind of like very sophisticated hotels, very unique buildings, because they know that in the future they'll be running out the cash, so that they are not having the income source as a country, so they are looking for another income source, tourism. It's a marketing, but how the marketeers are addressing it as a country. And the industry that would be, this is a threat for a lot of industries, but directly it would be a threat for automobiles. Because if there is no, the naturally created raw materials which can, the drive, it can make the vehicles move, no point of having vehicles. So how the leading automobile manufacturers are addressing this? Yeah, so they are changing to the hybrid engine, the Toyota. So they are looking for alternative power sources. But for that, they have to foresee in the future. Understand? Take down those examples. How the Dubai is changing the marketing points, and how, as a general, the businessmen, an average businessman, how we have to look for different power sources, like changing to wind power or solar power. And it has become a direct threat to automobile manufacturers, and how they are addressing it by introducing the hybrid vehicles and electric vehicles and the solar powered vehicles. And also like the very initial step that created by the Japanese vehicle is like fuel efficient vehicles, because like English vehicles, European vehicles are very heavy. So that fuel efficiency is not like for maybe 8 kilometers per liter, but the Japan, they have created with more the fuel efficient vehicles, with the light vehicles. so that at least 1 liter they can run for more than 12 kilometers. So then the second step, they introduce hybrid vehicles. So then it further increase the efficiency of the fuel usage. And the fully electric. And in the future, it will be solar powered. That's how the different products are changing its product attributes itself to address this trend. So that of course linked with the increased energy cost. So the last bullet and the first one that's being collected because of the shortage of raw material, the cost is increasing so that the one solution the marketeers can come across with looking for alternative power sources and also modify their product to bring more energy efficiency. And it is a huge threat to the entire economy. They have to look for different alternative like tourism, how the tourism is the booming in the Middle Eastern context. Even the last, like the football match, the World Cup, it was in Qatar, and they said that the entire stadium is AC. So like they are trying to get the attention from the world. So there's a lot of technology. They are like we think like those. It was like a myth. Normally we say that the Middle Eastern people are not being educated. They are not being motivated to be learn because anyway they have the money. So that lot of young generation is not motivated to learn. Even though it is the case, they are outsourcing the people. So they show the world like we are also possible to do those kind of technical advancements. And the other one is like the pollution. Pollution is increasing since we are talking about the natural environment. So that the government intervention increase. So people are very much concerned about the sustainability and the lot of anti-pollution pressures are coming across. This is what the common in the entire world. So how should marketeers address it? Yeah, you can come across with environmental friendly product, green products and those kind of ones. And also especially in terms of the package. And also like whether you're using polythene and those kind of ones, you have to use biodegradable materials. And like it says, the government intervention is also increased, but the government intervention should be in the correct direction. Like you can put the policies, but the policies should also be in practice. Otherwise, like for the environment protection conference or environment protection day celebration. So if you are using plastic water bottles, just go like some people, those who are having conference, we're talking about how we protect the environment. And then for each and every person is being given a plastic water bottle. And that person maybe just sip 1 or 2 from that water bottle, keep the bottle and who is going to use the drink the rest? Not even taking the bottle. So that we have to be careful. Like why not? Then people would say that you have to change it to glass bottle. If it is a glass bottle, the bottle should be refillable. At one time, like that is very, that's a simple thing. But that's why I said that the government intervention should be there. It's not only the government, it's the entire businessmen, I would say. It's the attitudinal change it's required. So that the companies can initiate it. Because like if we go to any of the meetings in the Asian continent, I don't know about the other countries, basically in Sri Lanka, mainly the water bottle. Even I also been given water bottle. Okay. So, but once I visited one training from Monash, they are the first day, like we have been given a pack. So in the pack, the water bottle is there. So they have given it as a souvenir with the Monash logo and everything. So why they are giving a water bottle as a souvenir? Because it was a 3 months training. So the entire 3 months, they're not giving water. No plastic bottles. No water is being given. So you are living in a particular place, bring the water from that water. Otherwise, you don't have water. So you have to have just pay yourself and have something from the canteen. So that's kind of a real environmental protection practices we have to initiate as a company. Even within the company, you can stop giving the plastic bottles. even you can initiate in your company that you are attached to. Give a glass bottle which printed like maybe individual person's initials. Like if your name with initial, just because unless otherwise like you get mixed up with the company's logo and that person's name. So it's a matter like every day the person needs to fill the water, that's it. So you can cut down the budget a lot. And also like, what else we can do as businessmen to protect the environment? One thing is being adhere to the rules and regulations, you should know, and whenever you are disposing water and the air and certain rules and regulations are there, you have to, that's a conventional thing that's anyway coming into your mind. But that's something unique where you can, if you think carefully, you can initiate those ones. Other than that, some CSR projects to initiate, yeah, but actually it should be a CSR purpose, not for the tax reduction purpose. Otherwise, what will happen is like you are doing a CSR project and then from the financial accounts, you say that we have spent this much to protect the environment, so that needs to be tax reduction out of it. Not in that way, it should be real way, real purpose. What else? How we can address this, the challenges, otherwise like it will be, very recently we got smoke that came out from India. It says that it's so dangerous, but now what to do? Just leave as it. So naturally it went luckily, otherwise we have to live with it. So it says like any business challenges that can be rectified, but the challenges that you are getting out of the environment which cannot be rectified. If the raw material is not there, then it's not there. You can't stop it. You can't stop it. Only thing you have to adapt to it. If the world heat, the global warming is happening, so the sea level will go up. You can't stop it. So the entire world is saying that the China is the main contributor to the global warming, and the China is saying that it's not our factory. It's US and you create the factory. So it's your ownership. So how do you put that into our account? People will have those kind of debates also going. As businessmen, what else we can do to protect the environment? We can, like, conventionally can change the packaging, and those things are very label level. Other than that, how about the durability of the product? Now the durability of the product has gone down a lot. Marketing itself is contributing for environmental damage, I would say. Do you agree with me? Marketeers are contributing a lot to damage the environment. How? The variety, frequency. If you look at the clothing items, those days, like if you just have a chat with your parents, they may purchase a dress maybe like for the new year, twice a year. You ask from yourself how many times that you are buying clothes annually. So how we are going to throw them? Either you burn, so very hardly you collect and give it to a poor people, isn't it? The reproduction, like reuse, is very less. And also, like with the economic crisis, the quality of the material will go down. So with very less number of washers, the looks will go down. Then anyway, you can't use it. You have to replace it. If there is anyone to take it, we will take it. Otherwise, you have to destroy it. Whatever the mode of destroying, environmental pollution. And also people diversity increases, you want variety of products. So the variety of product increases in a sense, anyway, you have to dispose it. That means you are damaging environment. Look at the mobile phones. Yeah, how many versions they are introducing? The version, so long as the versions are being introduced, the phone which is there in your hand is outdated. You feel like going for another phone. So what are you going to do with the phones that's already there? So how are you going to dispose it? Even if you put it to the environment, the battery is a dangerous thing. So the durability, so long as if we make the durability small, it is good for the marketing point that the people very frequently go for a new product, but it's bad to the environment. That's what I said, that the commercially, like even though we are just for the sake of addressing these ones, but the other side of marketing, it says that no, you are contributing to the environmental damage. Understand the point what I'm telling? So that's why some new concepts are coming like ethical marketing. They make sure you are really fulfilling the customer's requirements. Okay. If you want something to take down, take it down there. Some examples. How should marketers address it? Now I discussed different power sources. Also, I discussed like the modifying the product, changing to hybrid vehicles, increasing the fuel efficiency. And also like the changing the packaging materials. Those days, maybe different layers are there in the package. You can reduce the number of layers. And you can use the some people are talking about like just to get rid of the polythene as a package, you have to use natural resources. Then that means like that Nelum color you say, it's natural, but anyway, you have to cut down the Nelum color, isn't it? It's environmental damage once again. So if you are serving like 50 people, that means per time 50. Unless otherwise they have to wash that Nelum color and use it for the next time. And we say that being natural, you should not use like the aluminium for cooking and those ones you have to use for clay. The clay you have to get it from the natural environment. So let's do engineering. So therefore you have to be very much careful to balance these two. Take down those ones. And also you can take down that the increase in like the less quality product, the lifespan of the product will go down. So that means the product needs to be very frequently disposed. That is common for clothing items, shoes. Like you can't use a pair of shoes for 6 months. That's broken. When you have to throw it, where to throw it now in the commercial area where you and me live. So the trying the things like the disposing, it's a huge threat. So that we have to have a habit of saying no for certain things. If it is collecting garbage. And also like we are saying we should avoid the polythene use. But if you go for shopping in the supermarket, how many polythene bags that they are giving? For different products, because soap you don't put with the food item. So that smaller one, and then ultimately you are collecting those. So that means like originally, say Kiehl's, that's one of the leading supermarket in Sri Lanka. Kiehl's, like strategically, they are changing their outlets and everything, and they are saying that being more towards the environment friendly. But ground level, the people, those who are working in the TL, they are being instructed. It's not their fault. They are being instructed, these products you have to give in a separate the polythene bag. So then, like, there is no consistency. Those are small things, but as businessmen, we have to like this. And also like automobile industry and the mobile phones industry, clothing industry, shoes industry. And the ones, those who are using the plastic containers, shampoo, hand washers. So you have to increase, like, motivate the customers for refilling and avoid giving water bottles for any business discussions. Instead, when the employee is being confirming, give a glass bottle with that person's name and the company logo. And thereafter, no water is being provided by the company. And also you can increase the reuse of the product. Those are in fact came as new concepts from the Western world, but I suppose our Vedda people, the very ancient people, they were like this. Very simple living, very less number of clothes. So now we are having a huge variety of clothes so that collecting garbage. So we need sophisticated life so that we are collecting. Our life is very materialistic. So then we are throwing those ones that's going to the environment. And also like the everything, like the durability of the product has gone down because of so many reasons. Then like those days, if you just have a chat with your grandparents or parents, like even if they have taken a brew, they won't throw, like as the way that you and me are throwing, just broken, throw it. Okay. They say that if the cleaning, the one is not usable, they take that off and keep the stick for some purpose. So those people are much more environment friendly, even though this sustainability and those ones are coming in the Western world. The Asian, the traditional, the Vedda people are much more sustainable than us. Anything that I have missed in terms of sustainability, like I'm having like a different mindset. Like being a marketer, I sometimes criticize the marketing field itself. So, but that is the reality. So that you have to always think about like if you want to be really environment concerned, that should be real environment. But then again, the opposite of it, the people would look at like it's a challenging the increased diversity in the demographic environment. And also because of the economic environment, you inferior the quality of all the products. Clothing item, you inferior the quality, then lifespans goes down. Then it's like interconnected. Even though I'm discussing those ones as separate trends, they are interconnected. At one point, it's a good opportunity, but on the other side, it's a challenge. Increasing diversity, it's good. It's an opportunity, but it's a threat when it's come to natural. So can you visualize in the way that I'm visualizing? So that is what I want you to be, because you all are practitioners. Even though I'm discussing these ones separately, you need to have the knowledge of synthesizing. Like connecting all these things, because actually like what you are learning, ultimately whenever you start, of course you are working already, whenever you are making decisions. So when others are making decisions, you should have to have a different viewpoint. In the management board, people will come up with certain solutions, but you should be a unique person. Then you really be happy that you have learned something out of the education. Education is not just for the paper publication. You have to change the way that you are thinking. So that's why, like, so not only for marketing, even for other subjects, don't make the different topics detached. Try to visualize and like we call it as synthesize. Because ultimately you make decision in your life, in your professional life as well as personal life. So that's why really you are demarcating whether you have educated or not just how many qualifications you have. Okay. It's almost only 3 minutes left. So the next one, I don't think like we have time to discuss. Any questions so far? Did I went little fast today? No. Okay, I'll stop for today. We'll see you next time. And I think I told you like I have already uploaded the slides to the LMS. You can check.